Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to remember something. You are the master of your own fate. Where you are today is not where you have to stay. Growth is a choice, and success is a journey. Now, I'm not here to give you shortcuts. I'm not here to tell you it'll be easy, but I will tell you the truth. You want to improve yourself? Then listen up. These 5 secrets will change your life. Discipline is the foundation of all success. It is the unwavering commitment to your goals, even when the excitement fades and the obstacles seem insurmountable. Motivation is fleeting. It comes in bursts, driven by emotions, circumstances, or external influences. Some days you wake up feeling unstoppable, ready to conquer the world. Other days you struggle just to get out of bed. This is the reality of human nature. Relying solely on motivation is like depending on the weather. Unpredictable, unreliable, and ever-changing. But discipline is constant. Discipline is the internal force that keeps you moving forward, no matter how you feel. It is the ability to do what needs to be done, even when you don't want to do it. Imagine a world-class athlete training for the Olympics. Do you think they feel motivated every single day? Of course not. There are mornings when their body aches, when the exhaustion sets in, when they question whether they can push themselves any further. But they do it anyway. They lace up their shoes, step onto the track, and put in the work. Why? Because they understand that motivation is a luxury, but discipline is a necessity. They don't wait until they feel like it. They know that showing up consistently, rain or shine, is what separates champions from everyone else. The same principle applies to every area of life. Whether you want to excel in your career, improve your health, or master a skill, discipline is the key that unlocks the door to greatness. The problem is that most people expect success to come easily. They assume that if they don't feel motivated, it's a sign they should stop or take a break. This mindset is what holds people back. The truth is, anything worth achieving requires effort, sacrifice, and persistence. The most successful people in the world, entrepreneurs, artists, athletes, and scholars, are not the ones who always feel motivated. They are the ones who have trained themselves to be disciplined no matter what. They don't let their feelings dictate their actions. They have routines, schedules, and habits that keep them on track, even on their worst days. Discipline is not about working yourself into exhaustion or pushing beyond healthy limits. It is about making a commitment to your growth and sticking to it. It means doing what is necessary, even when it is difficult, tedious, or uncomfortable. It means waking up early to study for an exam, even when you would rather sleep in. It means showing up to the gym when you'd rather stay on the couch. It means putting in the extra hours at work to refine your craft, even when no one is watching. Discipline is what builds character. It strengthens your resilience and turns your dreams into reality. One of the biggest misconceptions about discipline is that it requires willpower alone. But willpower is like a muscle. It gets tired. If you rely only on willpower, you will eventually burn out. This is why successful people create systems that make discipline easier. They remove distractions, set clear goals, and establish habits that support their progress. For example, if someone wants to eat healthier, they don't just rely on willpower to resist junk food. They remove unhealthy snacks from their home, plan their meals in advance, and create an environment that makes healthy choices the default. If someone wants to write a book, they don't just wait until inspiration strikes. They set a daily writing schedule and stick to it, regardless of whether they feel creative or not. The beauty of discipline is that it compounds over time. The small, consistent actions you take every day add up to significant results. A person who reads for just 30 minutes a day may not notice an immediate change, but over a year, they will have consumed dozens of books. A musician who practices for an hour each day may not see instant improvement, but after months of disciplined practice, their skills will be on an entirely new level. Progress may be slow, but it is inevitable when discipline is present. There is also a deep sense of pride that comes from discipline. When you push yourself beyond what you thought was possible, you develop confidence in your abilities. You prove to yourself that you are capable of doing hard things. You no longer need external validation because you know the work you've put in. This internal confidence is what separates those who merely dream from those who achieve. While others wait for motivation to strike, disciplined individuals create their own momentum. They don't need someone to tell them to work hard. They already made that decision. At the same time, discipline does not mean you have to be perfect. It is not about never missing a day or never making mistakes. It is about consistency over time. Everyone has setbacks. Everyone has moments when they feel like giving up. The difference is that disciplined people get back on track faster. They don't let one bad day turn into a bad week. They don't let a single failure define their entire journey. Instead, they learn from their mistakes, adjust their approach, and keep moving forward. Discipline is a skill, and like any skill, it can be developed. It starts with small commitments. Maybe it's waking up 10 minutes earlier each day. Maybe it's writing down your goals every morning. Maybe it's replacing one bad habit with a better one. Over time, these small actions create massive transformations. The key is to start. Stop waiting to feel ready. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment will never come. The only thing you can control is your effort, and the best time to start is now. If you want to build discipline, find your why. Remind yourself why your goal matters. Write it down. Look at it every day, because when things get hard, and they will, it is your why that will keep you going. If your reason is strong enough, no excuse will be big enough to stop you. Discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It is the difference between staying stuck and breaking through. It is the secret weapon of every successful person. So the next time you don't feel like doing the work, ask yourself this: are you going to let temporary feelings dictate your future, or are you going to take control of your destiny? The choice is yours. Failure is one of the most misunderstood concepts in life. From a young age, we are conditioned to fear it, to avoid it at all costs, and to see it as a sign of weakness. But the truth is, failure is not the opposite of success. It is an essential part of success. Every great achiever, every leader, every innovator has failed, and not just once, but over and over again. What separates them from everyone else is how they respond to failure. They don't run from it, they don't make excuses, and they don't let it define them. Instead, they embrace it, learn from it, and use it as fuel to push forward. Failing big means taking risks. It means stepping outside of your comfort zone and daring to chase something greater. It means putting yourself in a position where you might stumble, where you might fall, where you might even embarrass yourself. But that is the price of growth. If you never take risks, you never learn. If you never learn, you never improve. And if you never improve, you will never reach your full potential. The people who achieve greatness are the ones who are willing to fail and fail fast. They understand that failure is not a dead end, it is simply a lesson. Every setback is an opportunity to adjust, to improve, and to come back stronger. Think about some of the most successful people in the world. Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players of all time, was cut from his high school basketball team. At that moment, he could have given up. He could have decided that basketball wasn't for him. Instead, he used that failure as motivation to train harder, to push himself further, and to prove everyone wrong. He later said, "I have failed over and over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed." Look at Thomas Edison, the inventor of the light bulb. He failed thousands of times before he finally found a way to make it work. Thousands. Imagine if he had given up after the first 100, or the first 500, or the first 900 attempts. We might still be sitting in the dark. When asked about his repeated failures, Edison didn't see them as mistakes. He said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." That is the mindset of a winner. That is the mindset of someone who understands that failure is a stepping stone, not a roadblock. But most people don't think this way. Most people are so afraid of failing that they never even try. They stay in their comfort zones, playing it safe, never taking risks. And as a result, they never grow. They never discover what they are truly capable of. They let the fear of embarrassment, the fear of rejection, the fear of making mistakes hold them back from reaching their potential. They see failure as a reason to stop, when in reality, it should be the reason to keep going. The faster you fail, the faster you learn. The faster you learn, the faster you grow. And the faster you grow, the faster you succeed. This is why failing fast is so important. The longer you wait to take action, the longer you delay your progress. Some people spend years overthinking, analyzing, and waiting for the perfect moment before they take a step forward. But there is no perfect moment. The only way to improve is to start, to make mistakes and to learn as you go. No one gets it right the first time. No one. Every expert was once a beginner. Every master was once a student. Every successful person was once someone who had no idea what they were doing but decided to try anyway. Falling forward means that every time you fail, you are still making progress. You are still moving closer to your goal. The only real failure is quitting. As long as you get up one more time than you fall, you are still in the game. Every time you fail, you gain experience. You gain wisdom. You gain resilience. Failure teaches you things that success never will. It humbles you. It forces you to reevaluate your approach. It makes you stronger. And when you finally do succeed, the victory will be that much sweeter because you know you earned it. You know you fought for it. You know that every setback, every rejection, every disappointment was just another step on the path to greatness. One of the most powerful lessons you can learn in life is to stop fearing failure and start embracing it. Change the way you look at failure. Instead of seeing it as an enemy, see it as a teacher. Instead of running from it, run toward it. Be willing to try, to experiment, to put yourself in situations where you might fail. Because the truth is, the only people who never fail are the ones who never try. And those people never grow, never improve, and never achieve anything remarkable. Success is built on failure. The greatest achievements in history came from people who refused to quit when things got hard. Oprah Winfrey was told she wasn't fit for television. Steven Spielberg was rejected from film school multiple times. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper because they said he had no creativity. These are the stories of people who didn't let failure stop them. They kept going, they kept learning, they kept improving, and in the end, they proved everyone wrong. If you want to reach your full potential, you must be willing to take risks. You must be willing to fail. And when you do fail, and you will, fail forward. Learn from your mistakes, adjust your strategy, and keep moving. Do not let fear control you. Do not let doubt hold you back. Every time you fall, remind yourself that you are one step closer to success, because failure is not the end of the road. It is just another step on the journey to greatness. Excuses are the enemy of progress. They are the invisible chains that hold people back from reaching their full potential. The moment you start justifying why you haven't taken action, why you're not where you want to be, or why circumstances are preventing you from moving forward, you have already lost. The most dangerous thing about excuses is that they feel reasonable. They sound like valid explanations. You might tell yourself that you don't have enough time, that you don't have enough resources, that you weren't given the right opportunities. But the truth is, everyone has obstacles, everyone faces difficulties. The difference between those who succeed and those who stay stuck is simple. Successful people find a way while others find an excuse. It's not about how many challenges you have. It's about whether you let those challenges stop you. If you look at the most successful people in the world, you will see that none of them had a perfect road to success. They didn't have all the advantages. They didn't have an easy path. What they had was the determination to push through every obstacle, no matter how big. They refused to let excuses control their lives. They understood that success isn't about luck or ideal circumstances. It's about action, persistence, and an unwavering commitment to the goal. Excuses, on the other hand, give people a false sense of comfort. They create an illusion that you are powerless, that external factors are stopping you, when in reality, the only thing stopping you is you. Many people convince themselves that they need perfect conditions to start. They believe they need more money, better connections, or more experience before they can begin their journey. But waiting for the perfect moment is just another excuse. There will never be a perfect moment. The only moment you have is now. The longer you wait, the more opportunities you lose. The longer you make excuses, the further you fall behind. People who succeed don't wait until everything is ideal. They start with what they have, right where they are. They make the most of their resources and they figure out the rest along the way. Take, for example, people who want to get in shape but keep telling themselves they don't have time to work out. The reality is they have time for what they prioritize. They have time to scroll through social media, to watch TV, to sleep in an extra hour, but they don't have time for exercise. The truth is, it's not about time, it's about priorities. The same applies to learning a new skill, starting a business, or improving your life in any way. People will say they don't have enough money, but many of them spend money on things they don't need. They will say they don't have enough support, but they haven't even tried to find a community of like-minded people. Every excuse is just a disguised refusal to take responsibility. One of the most common excuses is blaming circumstances. Some people believe that because they were born into a difficult situation, they cannot succeed. While it is true that some people have more advantages than others, it is also true that many of the world's most successful people came from nothing. They faced hardships, poverty, rejection, and failures. But instead of using those things as an excuse to give up, they use them as motivation to push forward. The greatest success stories are not about people who had it easy. They are about people who had every reason to quit, but refused to do so. They understood that success is not given, it is earned. Excuses also prevent people from taking responsibility for their lives. When you blame the economy, the government, your upbringing, or your lack of resources, you are giving away your power. You are saying that your life is controlled by things outside of you, instead of recognizing that you have the ability to change your situation. Successful people do not waste time blaming others. They take ownership of their choices. They understand that while they cannot control everything, they can control how they respond to challenges. They do not wait for someone to rescue them or for circumstances to change. They take action, no matter how small, to move in the direction of their goals. Another excuse people often make is fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of stepping into the unknown. But fear is just another obstacle to overcome. The truth is, everyone feels fear, everyone has doubts. The difference is that successful people do not let fear stop them. They take action despite their fear. They understand that courage is not the absence of fear, it is moving forward even when fear is present. If you wait until you are no longer afraid, you will never take action. If you wait until you feel ready, you will be waiting forever. Growth comes from doing things that scare you, from stepping outside of your comfort zone, from embracing the uncertainty of the journey. Excuses are also a form of self-deception. They allow people to avoid facing the truth about themselves. It is easier to say, "I don't have time," than to admit, "I am not managing my time well." It is easier to say, "I can't afford it," than to admit, "I am not making financial decisions that align with my goals." It is easier to say, "I am too tired," than to admit, "I am not prioritizing my health." The moment you stop making excuses and start being honest with yourself, everything changes. You realize that the only thing standing between you and your goals is your willingness to take action. You realize that you are capable of far more than you ever imagined. If you want to break free from excuses, you must change your mindset. Instead of saying, "I can't," start saying, "How can I?" Instead of saying, "It's too hard," say, "I will find a way." Instead of saying, "I don't have time," say, "I will make time." Words have power, and the way you speak to yourself shapes your reality. When you remove excuses from your vocabulary, you remove limitations from your life. You begin to see possibilities where you once saw obstacles. You begin to take responsibility for your future instead of waiting for things to change. Excuses do nothing but keep you stuck. They rob you of your potential, they waste your time, and they give you false comfort. But the truth is, comfort does not lead to success. Growth comes from taking action, from making sacrifices, from doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. Success is not about having the perfect circumstances. It is about making the most of what you have. It is about refusing to accept limitations and finding a way forward. You have the power to change your life. But change will never happen as long as you are making excuses. The moment you stop waiting for the perfect time, the moment you stop blaming your circumstances, the moment you take full responsibility for your actions, that is the moment your life begins to transform. Excuses are easy, but success is earned. The question is, are you willing to let go of the excuses and take control of your future? The choice is yours. Success is not a final destination, it is a continuous journey. Many people believe that once they reach a certain level of achievement, they can relax, stop learning, and settle into comfort. But the truth is, the moment you stop growing, you start declining. Staying humble and staying hungry are the two most important qualities that separate those who achieve temporary success from those who sustain greatness. Humility keeps you grounded, reminding you that no matter how much you achieve, there is always more to learn. Hunger keeps you striving for more, pushing you to break limits and reach new heights. When you combine these two qualities, you create an unstoppable force that drives you forward no matter how much you have already accomplished. Humility is the ability to recognize that you do not know everything. It is the understanding that there is always someone smarter, stronger, or more experienced than you. The most successful people in the world do not see themselves as superior to others. Instead, they remain students of life. They seek wisdom, listen more than they speak, and constantly look for ways to improve. They know that arrogance is dangerous because it blinds you to your weaknesses and makes you complacent. The moment you start believing that you have nothing left to learn, you set yourself up for failure. Humility allows you to accept feedback, admit mistakes, and make corrections. It gives you the ability to respect others, build strong relationships, and continue growing. At the same time, staying hungry is just as important. Hunger is the fire inside you that pushes you to go further than anyone else. It is the refusal to settle for mediocrity. No matter how much success you achieve, you must keep that hunger alive. Think about athletes who win championships. Some of them celebrate their victory and then lose their edge, becoming comfortable with their success. Others, however, celebrate briefly and then get right back to work, training even harder to win again. That hunger is what keeps them at the top. The moment you lose your hunger, you stop improving. The greatest people in history did not achieve their success by being satisfied with what they had. They kept setting new goals, new challenges, and new heights to reach. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking that success is permanent. They assume that once they achieve something, they will always have it. But success is never guaranteed. It must be maintained. Just because you are successful today does not mean you will be successful tomorrow. The world is constantly changing, and if you are not growing, learning, and adapting, you will be left behind. The most successful people understand this, which is why they never stop pushing themselves. They do not get comfortable. They do not let their past achievements make them lazy. Instead, they use their past success as motivation to go even further. They know that every new level of success requires a new level of effort. Another reason humility is essential is that it keeps you open to learning from others. No matter how talented or experienced you are, you can always learn something new from someone else. Some of the most successful people in the world have mentors, coaches, or advisors who guide them. They are not afraid to ask for help or seek knowledge from those who have walked the path before them. They do not see learning as a weakness, but as a strength. Those who refuse to learn, who think they already have all the answers, will eventually be surpassed by those who are willing to grow. Humility allows you to recognize that no matter how far you have come, there is still more to achieve. Staying hungry also means setting new goals. Too many people reach a certain level of success and stop pushing themselves. They get comfortable, and that comfort slowly turns into stagnation. The key to long-term success is to always be working towards something. The most successful people never stop challenging themselves. When they reach one goal, they immediately set another. They do not allow themselves to stay in the same place for too long. They are always striving for something bigger, something better. This is what separates those who achieve short-term success from those who build lasting legacies. One of the dangers of success is that it can lead to complacency. When people become successful, they sometimes develop an entitlement mindset. They start believing that they deserve success and that they no longer have to work as hard. This is a dangerous way of thinking because the moment you stop putting in the effort, you start losing what you have built. Success is not given. It is earned every single day. Those who stay on top understand that they must continue to outwork, outlearn, and outgrow their competition. They know that success is not something you own. It is something you rent, and the rent is due every day. Hunger also means resilience. The road to success is not smooth. There will be setbacks, failures, and challenges along the way. Those who lack hunger will give up when things get tough. They will accept defeat and settle for less than they are capable of achieving. But those who have hunger will push through every obstacle. They will find a way forward no matter how difficult the journey becomes. They understand that success requires persistence, determination, and an unbreakable mindset. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail is often just the willingness to keep going when others quit. Another key aspect of humility is gratitude. When you stay humble, you appreciate the opportunities, the people, and the experiences that have helped you grow. You recognize that success is not achieved alone. It comes from the support of mentors, family, friends, and even competitors who challenge you to be better. Gratitude keeps you grounded and reminds you to never take your success for granted. It also helps you maintain a positive attitude and develop strong relationships. People are drawn to those who are humble, respectful, and appreciative. On the other hand, arrogance and entitlement push people away. If you want to sustain long-term success, you must master the balance of humility and hunger. You must remain a student, always learning, always improving, always looking for ways to grow. At the same time, you must never lose the fire that drives you to push beyond your limits. Success is not about reaching one goal and stopping. It is about continuously striving to be better than you were yesterday. The moment you think you have arrived is the moment you start falling behind. The question is, how will you approach success? Will you let it make you complacent, or will you let it drive you to reach new heights? Will you allow arrogance to blind you, or will you stay humble and keep learning? Will you settle for what you have, or will you stay hungry and push yourself further? The choice is yours. The ones who truly succeed in life are those who never stop growing, never stop learning, and never stop striving for more.